mentioned tax relief as a big hallmark of this bill. And I feel like when people hear tax cuts, they just want to know, well, how much am I going to save? So how can you quantify how much the average New Yorker will save each year? You mentioned that this is really geared towards middle class individuals.
That's right. For once, we're seeing government take care of the middle class. Middle class have always been the ones who always got the bill but never qualified for the programs that they funded. And so here we're providing significant relief. It could be thousands of dollars. It obviously depends on the individual circumstances. But if you are, for example, a senior citizen who has lived in your home for a long time, maybe you bought it a long time ago, but now you can't keep up with the property tax increases from the city of New York, you would really benefit the most under this bill because you're not only eligible for that senior deduction, but then on top of it, you can get the SALT deduction, which could save you a lot of money if you own your home and you pay property taxes. And so it could be thousands of dollars for the average family. It could be up to 6, 7,000, depending on your individual circumstance.
Now, there were some constituents of yours in Brooklyn who did call on you to vote against the bill. They pointed to cuts to programs like Medicaid and SNAP, like you mentioned earlier. How do you explain your vote to them?
Well, first of all, I fought very hard to protect Medicaid and ensure that New York did not receive a lower reimbursement from the federal government. We preserved those reimbursements. We still receive 50% match from the federal government for traditional Medicaid and 90% match for the expansion population. We also made sure there were no caps in place that could have hurt many programs in the future. What we did do is, again, put in place reasonable requirements, which 90% of the population on Medicaid already adhere to. Part-time, many Americans, they work and they receive health insurance in exchange. If you are able-bodied, you're mentally capable, you're of young working age, you should be contributing as well, and you're doing that through part-time work, volunteerism, or learning. So the other thing is we have a tremendous number of people in New York State, particularly, that are here in the country illegally, and they have received Medicaid dollars in a roundabout way through the state of New York. We put an end to that. That is what we aim to do to make sure that the program is really benefiting our citizens and the people who are here legally. The other thing I want to point out, really important, is that, again, the seniors, children with disabilities, disabled community as a whole, pregnant mothers, they are fully protected. They do not have to adhere to the work requirements. Neither do people who are beneath the federal poverty line and on traditional Medicaid. Nothing changes for them. And so I think that's really important to point out. And so I think we struck the right balance here to make sure that we preserve the program. And guess what? When we root out that waste, that fraud and abuse, the money is actually going to be there to preserve this program in the future. And it goes to those most vulnerable citizens that it was intended for and who rely on it.